It has been relegated, and you know, we all know Eli Kalekwa. He came with the name Presda. The first time Sofapaka came, he came with the Presda. He was the first person paying players so well. But it's so unfortunate that Sofapaka is being relegated. To me, I've played for Sofapaka Queens. I saw this guy when Sofapaka was playing. There are Sofapaka dancers are there, the ladies, the people beat the drum. And it was just amazing having Sofapaka play. And I think him also, Eli Kaleko, the president, when it comes to the ladies football, the Sofapaka ladies, I think they were the first team that were being paid during training. There was allowance during training. There was allowance during games. Ali Nunulia, these ladies' tracks. It's so painful seeing Sofapaka being relegated to the National Super League. Leon Otieno, what do you think went wrong, Pande Sofapaka? We can remember the likes of Bo Mugalia, Patrick Kagogo. You know, we had some big names back in Sofapaka, but it's so unfortunate for them right now.
I think everybody that has been watching Kenyan football knows how much Sofapaka has contributed in the Kenyan Football League. And I think when they came into the league 17 years ago, Mr. Eli Kalekwa, we should all give him his flowers because of what he's done. Yeah. I think Sofapaka has really given us so much talent in the country. He has really helped the young boys from the ghetto, if I may say so, that has given them the opportunity to shine on the top level. And I think Sofapaka, back in the day, the Sofapaka that had the likes of Wilson Oburu, the goalkeeper, the likes of Edgar Faita Ochieng, Anthony Kimani, Sofapaka was one of the best teams in the league. And at the moment, if we are talking about Sofapaka being relegated, it's so sad, but it is football. And I think the main thing that they should do is they really need to invest on Sofapaka if they really want them to come back into the league. Because if they spend, let's say, a season or two in the National Super League, then it will be so tough for them to come up. I feel like they should try and invest so much so that they bounce back, maybe spend the next season in the National Super League, come back to the league. Because Sofapaka is a big team and they don't deserve to play in the NSL. They are supposed to be in the Kenya Premier League, and that is where Sofapaka is supposed to be because of how much the guy has invested in Kenyan football. Let me be specific. And what he has done to change the Kenyan football scene. You've talked about dancers and everything. He is the first person who came with a different flair in terms of fans. Yeah. The Sofapaka came in with dancers and everything. So he's someone who really loves football, and is someone who's always willing to invest in the Kenyan football. He's someone who's always willing to spend. And for him to go to the lower tier, I'm not going to take anything away from the NSL, but I feel like Sofapaka deserves to be in the top tier, which is the Kenya Premier League.
One of my earliest moments as a football player, I think I was like 7 or 6 years. Mimi nilikuanga ball girl wa Sofapaka, actually. I remember we did a walkout with, I can't remember his name. He's now a Kenyan legend. And one of the things I remember as well, those are my very, very early experiences with the Kenyan Premier League, was the dancers, actually. And I remember also, one of the things people knew about Sofapaka ni tulikuwa tunajua wachezaji wanalipwaje. And it was among the first time, unakaa hivi unasema, wewe unajua unalipangwa so tatu. You know, like it was a very, very good experience. And people were really bringing back, you know, we started having a feel of what Kenyan football really feels like. Unfortunately, over the years, with even management and the coaches, kunakumbuka there was one coach who used to say, "Kama unijui, sijitambulishi." You know, that kind of thing probably in the long run has led to the club coming down. There's also very good use. They used a lot of young talents in the likes of Kina Tyrone Karaoke, Chalo. Some of these young boys were playing very good football in Sofapaka. So it's unfortunate. The relegation of Sofapaka reminds me of what happened with Nairobi City Stars, one of our loved and our beloved clubs. And the problem with the NSL is that it's tough. If they're not able to invest, one of the biggest issues that everybody knows and everybody talks about is that something happened along the years to Sofapaka. They lost funding, they were not able to pay players. We've had even the stories of the likes of Kina Baron Ochieng who terminated their contracts because of unpaid dues. So I hope as they go into the NSL, it is a chance to re-strategize and restructure and push for funding. We've seen some very good talents go from Sofapaka and are now playing in Europe, and it's unfortunate. I mean, KPL is tough and it cuts both sides. They were not able to meet the financial burden, and even if you're not able to meet financial burden, unfortunately, it reflects. You know, kama wachezaji wakuli, it reflects.
Yeah.
So unfortunately for them, I wish them a very short stay in the NSL. I hope they're able to revitalize. They're able to, I mean, pick some of the good players they've seen, like from Falme. There are some very good players that we've seen in cup football. So I wish them all the best. I wish them a very short stay. And thank you so much, because some of us have grown up watching you, have grown up playing, coming for Sofapaka matches, and we really, it would, if not for you, I don't think Gor Mahia wangekuwa na dancers. Yeah.
Well, it's unfortunate. Me too, pia mimi cheza Sofapaka Queens, and your allowance, training allowance. It's so unfortunate. President brought in, remember Eli Kalekwa brought in the sign-on fees, and then he made players to be paid with dignity. Yani ilimekuwa. By the way, do you know Sofapaka before their match walikuwa wanapelekwa church, by the way?
To pray.
Yes, Sofapaka were being taken to church. The players, Batoro Bamungu, the players, our dancers, and if Sofapaka Queens hawakuwa na game, you had to be at the church. Mtoke pamoja, then you go to the stadium. But all the best in NSL, and I believe itakuwa ni hii season peke yake. But right now, reminder, the question of the day, just a reminder. Who is likely to win the English Premier League? And I can see some of your feedback on our screen right now on Facebook. It's a T47 Kenya, and I can see from Facebook, Wamboi Mora wa Mayai, Manchester City team ya watu wazima, we don't shout, we don't disrespect, we obey. That is from Facebook, Wamboi Mora wa Mayai. And then we have another one on Facebook, Steven Nzioki wa Kiene. Tunajua number 2. Peke yake, man. Anyway, and we have Sichei Felix. Siko sure, but niko sure Manu watashinda poa. Wow. Kuboeka Kenya ni kujitekea, by the way. Michael Nyamasio says, wote wakishinda game zao, goal difference will determine, which I think we've talked about that, and it was so impressive seeing Arsenal beat Fulham 3-0. Winfred Atieno said, we as United, Manchester in the city, tunasema. Wow. That's a very nice comment. And then we have Henry Kabaraji, hiyo ni Manchester City, ndio, I think he was saying mabingwa 2026. You can keep on sending your comments on, and we'll be reading them. Na sijui kwa nini watu wa Arsenali sijaona watu wa Arsenali. You don't even believe in yourselves. Kwani Rada is which?
You speak with action.
Leon, what you're saying you speak with?
Action.
Well, let's see on the 24th of May if that will be there.
Now,
moving on, let's move on to the Mozart Bet Cup semi-finals. It happened, and then we quarter-final recap, we had Bandari versus Ofalme, Kenya Police versus Shabana, Ulinzi Stars versus